Peace. What's going on, everybody? Give everybody a chance to scroll on in before I dive into the topic for the day. Another light build for you all today. Hopefully y'all holding up good out here. Maintaining, focused on your elevation. Staying positive, staying productive. Give everybody a chance to scroll on up in here, man. Before we get the ball rolling. Hopefully y'all holding up well out here, man. Doing good, taking care of yourselves, man. It's that time of the year. Transitioning to the cooler weather and all that good stuff, man. So we just got to take care of our health, man. We got to take extra precautions out here. Preventative measures. So we don't come down with a sickness, a cold, or anything like that. TZ Frank, peace. What's going on with you, my brother, man? How you living? How you holding up, man? Lachelle, peace. What's going on with you? Shakir, what's going on with you? How y'all living? I was supposed to do my thing on Monday, man, but had some stuff come up. As y'all can see by the title of this video, man, just had some things come up, man. You know how you got to deal. You got to deal with life sometimes. And life does not discriminate. Everybody has to deal with life, man. So life gonna throw some punches at you. Life is going to present you with some obstacles, with some trials and tribulations. That's gonna happen to any and everybody. No one is special. No one can walk through life and avoid those obstacles and those trials and tribulations. No one. We will all be faced with obstacles, no matter who you are. Again, like I said, life doesn't discriminate. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen, man. But how y'all holding up, man, before I get to venting? Like, y'all take care of yourselves out here? Because I know it can get real, man. It can get real, man. I just want to let everybody know that, for one, you are not alone in your fight. And number two, you will be victorious. You will come out on top. You will conquer yourself and life. Really no need to separate that, because conquering yourself is conquering life. So that will happen. You just cannot give up, though. You cannot give up. That's the main key. Please don't give up on yourself, man. You are needed. You are necessary. Like, everything that you have to offer is necessary and it's needed. So we cannot afford for you to give up. We cannot afford for you to give up when life gets a little challenging for you. Just got to learn how to adapt and adjust. That's all that life is about, being able to adapt and adjust. Because everything is not going to go your way 100% of the time. It may not even go your way 50% of the time. So you got to learn how to adapt and adjust when life is only going your way 20% of the time, and that 80% is going some other type of way. You got to learn how to adapt and adjust. That's the key to survival. That's the key to evolution, adapting and adjusting. As they say, survival of the fittest. TZ Frank, man, that midlife crisis, I didn't know and understand how real that was until I actually witnessed some people go through it. Like, that midlife crisis is legit real and it's powerful, man. A lot of people underrate that, but I've witnessed a lot of people undergo that midlife crisis, and it's real. It's real out here. And that's something that you need to grasp or gain an understanding of before you actually experience it or witness it. Like, we tend to take life for granted, man, until situations like that, when we had that midlife crisis or we have that near-death experience. So we take life for granted, man, until situations like this hit us. Sweet Tea, what's going on? Everything is all good my way, Sweet Tea. I'm just adapting and adjusting again. Life gets a little challenging. You faced with some obstacles, man. You just gotta learn how to just be swift and changeable, adapt and adjust. A lot of people don't understand that simple science. And a lot of times it's not even all about fighting back. That can be tiring. Like sometimes it's not about fighting back, fighting against life and things of that nature, meeting life with that resistance. Because like I said, man, life does not discriminate. Life does not discriminate. It's going to come at you and it's going to come at you hard. Sometimes you just got to bend with the flow of life, man. Sometimes you got to roll with the flow, roll with the punches. Sometimes fighting against life, man, can be tiring. It can wear you down. It can wear you down. It's going to drain you. So a lot of times, man, a lot of people don't understand that, man. We place a big emphasis on fighting back and effort and things of that nature, man. Well, sometimes really what we need to do is just take it easy, chill out. Let things flow. Let things come to you. Let things unfold instead of always striving to force things. So sometimes we tend to go against the grain, go against nature, meet it with that resistance. When if you just let it flow, let it unfold, then everything will work out according to how it's supposed to work out. So you don't always have to be a fighter, man. You don't always have to be a fighter. Remember that. You do not always have to be a fighter, man. Sometimes fighting can lead to your death, lead to your downfall. Shakir, most definitely. You know, Bruce Lee is my man, so that's most definitely a good comparison. 1228 the Great, peace. What's going on with you, my brother? And then a lot of times, too, we overly focus on, and let's just go back to the analogy of a fight. Sometimes, too, when it comes to life, we overly focus on, like, the fight, but we don't focus on the process that's leading up to the fight. So if you got a big event, like, let's focus on the training that must take place in order to prepare us for that fight. See, a lot of times we don't embrace the process. We don't embrace the process of things. Like, we overlook the process, the training. We overly focus on, like, that end result, that main event, that fight. Focus on that process. Focus on that training. Don't overlook that, man. Don't overlook that. Embrace that aspect of it. So then when it's actually time to fight, you will prepare for it. You will prepare for it. You won't feel like it caught you off guard because you are failing to prepare for anything that life throws at you. That's how a lot of us live through life. Our preparation is off. So I'm in love with the process, man. I got to fall in love with the process, man. So therefore, when life throws some challenges my way, I'm able to bounce back rather quickly. I don't sit and soak in that misery. And that's another key thing, man. Don't sit and soak in that misery. And then really never complain, because that will solve absolutely nothing. If anything, just complaining, that will just produce more situations that are similar to that in which you are complaining about. So complaining has never solved an issue, and it never will. So don't waste time complaining. Don't waste time being frustrated. Don't waste time with excuses. And again, like I said, when I'm talking to y'all, I'm talking to myself as well. That's one thing that I had to do. Dynasty Peace, what's going on with you? 1228 the Great, most definitely. It's all about long-term longevity. It's all about long-term longevity. And even within that long-term longevity, like I said, you got to focus on that process. What are the day-to-day things that you can do that will help you reach that long-term goal? There's always some day-to-day things that you can do. that will help you reach that long-term goal. And that's the stuff that you really need to focus on, because again, that's the process. So what tends to happen is when it comes to looking at things in that long-term perspective, we tend to solely focus on that long-term objective. And we ignore the day-to-day things that must be done in order to reach that long-term objective. And that's where people tend to make the problem. Create the problem. So you got to focus on those day-to-day things, man, the seemingly small things that you can do or that must be done in order for you to reach that goal or that objective. Zucko, what's going on with you? So it's that process, man. We tend to just overly focus our attention on that end goal, that long-term objective, that long-term accomplishment that we are striving towards. Nah, the process is more beautiful. So focus on what it takes to get to that long-term objective. Even when you're looking at it from a health perspective, if your overall goal is to be more healthy, okay, that's something that's long-term. But you have to do those day-to-day things. You have to eat your fruits and vegetables every day. You have to drink your smoothies. You have to drink your water. You have to do these things on a day-to-day basis. You have to exercise. You have to get proper rest. These are things that you have to do every day. Without those things, you will not have your overall health, which is the long-term objective. So we got to focus on those day-to-day activities. So that's the key to really getting through life, man. We got to be intentional about our mental health. And a lot of times we don't do that. See, we make a lot of plans and we create a lot of goals for like things like financially, like we maybe want to make X amount of dollars a year. Maybe we want to get a house. Maybe we want to get a new car. See, we make goals and things like that. But how many times do people actually map out a routine to improve their mental health? How many people actually do that? Like, how many people actually are intentional? How many people actually create a plan or strategize ways to improve their mental health and jot it down? Like, how many people on their planners or have a planner and they write down activities that will serve to improve their mental health on a day-to-day basis? You got to be intentional about your mental health, just like you are intentional about every other goal that you have in life. You can't neglect that mental health. You got to plan for that. You got to map out time to meditate. You got to map out time to say your affirmations. You got to map out time to journal. You got to map out time to just speak positivity into yourself. You got to map out time to do these things. If you don't, then you will look up and the day will be gone and you haven't tended to your mental health. So you got to make time for it, just like you make time for anything else. You got to schedule time for your mental health. That's crucial. Got to stop neglecting our mental health when it comes to just making time for things. Your mental health deserves time. It deserves to be on your schedule. That should be one of the first things that you actually do. 1228 the Great, that is when the character is built, when nobody is watching. So that's what it's all about. What are you doing when no one is watching? That's what it's really all about at the end of the day. Because we like to put on fronts and we like to become artificial when people are watching. So when no one is watching, that's when the real you is exposed. That's when the real you comes out, when no one is watching. That's the real you. That's when that real you comes out. That fake you tends to come out when a lot of people are watching. Like, that's when we become artificial. So that's why I can respect a lot of people that are the same. No matter if that door closed or if that door is open, they are the same type of individual, the same type of person. Like, those are the individuals that have all of my respect. But a lot of people, artificial. A lot of people are a totally different individual when the door is closed, when they are to themselves. So you do not want to be that type of individual. And that's one thing I have a problem with. I'm not able to act one way in public and then act a totally different way when I'm to myself or when I'm alone and isolated. I got to be the same individual. I got to stay true to myself. That's the only way that I know how to be. And that's the only way that everybody should know how to be. You got to stay true to yourself. You got to keep it honest with yourself. Hey, stop smiling when you don't think anything is funny. You know what I'm saying? Like, we just got to be true. We got to be real. We got to keep it authentic. That's the key. That's one of the keys to your peace. One of the keys to being balanced. One of the keys to being centered. Staying authentic, staying true to yourself, standing on your square. Azur, what's going on? Yeah, Sean, most definitely. And then this even applies to mental health. And what's crazy is when we have those near-death experiences that you are talking about, basically when we get prescribed the pills and whatnot, when we have those type of experiences, for the most part, some people still don't even make change. They may consider making change. So you can be on your deathbed and you survive and you just consider making a change. So for a lot of people, they don't even make change then. They just consider it. They consider it. And that's crazy. But when it comes to the mental health, a lot of people never take that seriously. Because a lot of people live in denial when it comes to the mental health. A lot of people don't even think that they have a mental issue or a mental problem. So when it comes to like your actual physical health, then we got things that we can measure. Like your heart is failing, you got high blood pressure, you got things that you can actually measure. When it comes to the mental health, a lot of people would just brush that off. A lot of people will brush that mental health issue off. And they hit you with the I'm okay, I'm fine. Like with the physical health, you can't do it. If you got high blood pressure, you have high blood pressure. You have high cholesterol, you have high cholesterol. You have a cancer, you have this cancer. You can't brush that off. But the mental health, people tend to brush that off. People tend to brush it off. So that's why I say we got to be intentional about that mental growth, improving that mental health. Oh, Dynasty, most definitely got to map it out. And I'm learning that myself, because if I don't map out these things, if I don't schedule it and make a plan to do these things for my mental health, as easy as the things may seem, as positive as the things may seem, something as simple as an affirmation. Like, I got to remind myself to do those affirmations, because if I don't, then the next thing you know, I will look up and I won't have done them. So it's crazy. Like, you really got to make a plan for that type of stuff, man. Small stuff that you think that you would just wake up and then be motivated to do. Like, nah, don't really work like that, man. You really got to strategize, plan, map these things out. Craig Smith, what's going on? And most definitely in our communities, man, that's where it's real prominent. Real prominent. We face a lot of things within our communities, man. We got to deal with a lot. And we sweep a lot under the rug as if we don't have to deal with a lot. Like, nah, man, we fight, man. Every day is a struggle. Every day is a challenge. Every day, new obstacles. So we are constantly dealing with new challenges, man, obstacles, trials and tribulations, roadblocks, etc., etc. And a lot of us feel like we got to hold it in. We feel like we cannot vent. We don't have anyone to vent to and all of these things. Hey, if you got to vent to yourself, then you just got to vent to yourself, man, but you got to let it out in some way, shape, or form. Sean Steve, most definitely. And Papoose is my guy. And like I said, even the thing with that, like I just said, sometimes that won't change. Man, I know plenty of people that they had death in their families, and the death was caused by pretty much something dietarily, like, you know, maybe diabetes. The person had a stroke, whatever the case may be, and people still are not striving to make changes. Why? Because for the most part, the way we have been brainwashed, a lot of people believe that the way that a lot of these people in their families are dying has nothing to do with their so-called diet and what they are eating. So we have been brainwashed to believe that a lot of these conditions, there's nothing you really can do about them, or that they are genetic, hereditary. So even when you had that family member that had diabetes and passed away via a stroke, then in some way, shape, or form, you're gonna chalk that up to it's hereditary, or they was just old, whatever the case may be. That's what we're gonna chalk it up to. We're not going to say, oh, man, that person was eating like this, that, and the third, and maybe I need to make changes. Like, for the most part, people still don't make the changes that they need to make, even when someone close to them goes down. Just because of the way we have been brainwashed and wired to think mentally. Like, we have been programmed in the worst way. In the worst way. Even when it, like, everything, we tend to chalk way too much to being hereditary, running in our families like it's crazy. Even when it comes to, like, mental health conditions, like schizophrenia, bipolar, and all that, we go right to something running in our families. Like, we tend to go right to that before we go and look at anything else, any other factors. We go right to hereditary, it being in our genes and stuff like that. That's the first thing that we run to. We don't look at, oh, what was this person eating that made them develop this cancer? What was this person eating? What was their lifestyle like to make them develop this diabetes? Like, nah, we go right to, oh, this must run in our family. Like, man, like I said, I said this in a previous video, and I probably said this more than 5 to 10 times. Like, your genes account for like 5 to 10% of chronic illnesses. 5 to 10%. That's it. That's it. That's it. You got 90 to 95% to account for. And those are environmental outside factors. Environmental factors. What you consume. Being about, I think, what was it, 20 to 25, 35% of the food that you eat. $25 to 30% of what you eat would account for if you will come down with a chronic illness or not. Opposed to 5 to 10% of it being hereditary. So come on, man. Y'all do the knowledge of that. Y'all make the comparison there. What do you need to focus on more? Something running in your family or what you are consuming? We need to focus more on what we are consuming, even when it comes to mental or brain health. Lindell, Peace, what's going on? Supreme Crow, what's going on with you? Yeah, Craig, most definitely. A lot of people don't understand that link as well. Mental health and diet, people don't understand that. People don't think that they are related in any way, shape, or form. People think if you just have a mental issue, you just have a mental issue and there's nothing that you can do about it type deal. Like, that's false. That's false. Peace, G. Yeah, but that's false, though. But a lot of people believe that. A lot of people believe that. And we got to stop accepting that false reality with a lot of these conditions, whether it be mental health or whether it be a physical condition. A lot of us accept the false reality that there isn't much we can do about some of these things once we acquire them. So when we get certain forms of cancer, we are under this false reality or this false notion that there's nothing that you can do about it. When you get some of these mental health conditions or issues, then we have this false notion that there is nothing that we can do about it. It's all false. It's all nonsense. There's always something that you can do to improve the condition or the situation or the circumstance. Always. Always. The body is too wise and intelligent for that to not be the case. So stop feeding into it. Most definitely, Supreme Crow, is the fear that they love to instill in us. They love to instill that fear in us. They don't want us to have that hope. They don't want us to have that hope. And it ain't even really hope. It's knowledge. They don't want us to have that knowledge in regards to what needs to be done in order to reverse some of these conditions. Because, again, they got to keep us dependent upon them in regards to us coming to them, getting the medication, the pills, and all that nonsense that we really don't need, that only makes the conditions worse. So you get a mental health issue, you dealing with depression, and that depression leads to you not being able to sleep, and you get pills for your insomnia with the side effect triggering your depression. That's the type of system that we live in. That's the type of system that we dealing with. You dealing with two conditions, and the side effect of one of the medications that treat one condition is triggering the other condition that you fight, that you're struggling with. Now, what sense does that make? or they just may give you a stronger dosage. Oh, this pill ain't where I've been taking this medication for X amount of months or years and it's not working. It's not doing what y'all said it'll do. Oh, what we gonna do? We gonna give you a stronger prescription. Gonna increase the dosage of it. That's what we gonna do. So they don't want to tell y'all the natural ways. They don't want to tell y'all the natural and normal ways to go about healing oneself. But we gonna, we got time with this podcast. Like I said, we're gonna eventually get into how to heal oneself. I've been doing a lot of studying, just like Eastern medicine and things like that, man. And I'm about to drop some of that information. But I've been doing a lot of studying in that regards. And that's one of the things that I wanted to focus a little bit more, just some of my studies in regards to like nutrition, health and fitness. So I've been doing a lot of studying these past few days on top of dealing with things that life has thrown at me. Oh yeah, Dynasty, it's most definitely all about control. That control, that power, that greed, all of that nonsense makes people get greedy. They get greedy. That money. They want that money that's being brought in. They want that money that's being brought in off of our sickness, off of us dying. They want the money. Hey, Lindell, I appreciate that, man. Sometimes I have to listen to myself for that mental therapy, man. Sometimes I have to listen to my own words. Again, I may catch Jews for myself because, like I said, when I'm talking to y'all, I'm talking to myself. And Supreme Crow, you already know. But yeah, man, I like, again, and like I mentioned in the description of this video, man, it's just some things that I'm dealing with on like a personal level, man, that just kind of making this month one of those months for me. So I just had to, you know what I'm saying, man, I just had to sit down with myself. And sometimes it's just what you got to do, man. You just got to sit down and have that one-on-one with yourself. Like you got to have that one-on-one with yourself, man. Andrew Peach, what's going on, man? How you living? How you feeling? But that was crucial for me, man. You just got to sit down and have that one-on-one with yourself, man. That dialogue. You got to sit down and you got to talk to yourself, man. You got to, whether it be to motivate yourself, whether it be to figure some things out. But, life hit me with some curveballs a few times, man. And there's some things that I had to just kind of adapt and adjust. And it's a lot of challenges that I faced, man. Some things that I really wasn't expecting to face. And I've never been great with expressing myself emotionally and things like that, man. So there's some of the stuff that I'm dealing with is triggering that. And I've never been too great in expressing myself emotionally. The best I can do, is write some of the things down. That's the best that I can do. But when it comes to expressing myself emotionally, man, I've always had a problem with that. And the stuff that I'm dealing with right now is triggering that aspect of my life. So I always have a hard time dealing with those type of things when it gets overly emotional. So I just got to get better with expressing myself emotionally. And that's one of the things that I'm dealing with. Like, y'all know how it is. I'm pretty sure y'all all have, we all lost somebody that's close to us, man. So a lot of times, like that grieving process, you may think that it improves or something that you get over, you can get over it, but that's not something that you get over. That's just something that you got to learn how to live with. So, I'm going to give y'all, again, I'm going to get personal, but you all know, or you all may not know, my grandmother passed around this time. This is coming up on a year since her passing. And so when it happened, it was so much going on when it happened. I felt like I had to pretty much be there for my moms and my family because everybody took it hard. So I'm striving to be the strong person there. So I really didn't express myself emotionally when it all went down. I wasn't crying at the funeral. I didn't shed a tear at all. Didn't do any of that type of stuff, man. And that was almost a year ago. And here it is coming up on that year. And it's just you feel like you didn't figure out how to live with it, but you realize at that time you held a lot of stuff held a lot of stuff back. And it's the longer that it has been, the harder it seems to be to deal with. So that's something that I'm facing now. And then on top of that, I lost a cousin and an aunt like right around the same time. So it feel like this is the time where I tend to lose people that's closest to me. You know, so this was triggering a lot of things, man. So I had to sit back and I had to just evaluate life. Like, man, what's going on, man? Let me get some things figured out. Let me find the strength to just pull through this. So like, it's, you know what I'm saying? It's one of those situations for me, man, to the point where you feel like you really just want to disconnect and unplug from everything and everybody and just really isolate yourself, man. I was approaching one of those moments. I'm still approaching one of those moments where the only thing that I may do is just like build on here. But for the most part, man, I just feel like I really need to like disconnect, unplug, man, just isolate from a lot of things, a lot of people. Because it's one of those times of the year where I really don't feel like being bothered, simply because I don't care about what a lot of other people are caring about. For instance, like politics and stuff like that, man, I'm really not caring about that type of stuff, man. I'm like, man, I got other issues that I'm dealing with in life that I don't care who they place up in this office. That's not going to solve some of these issues that I'm dealing with, some of these issues that you're dealing with. So I don't care about debating about it. You know what I mean? So I'm in one of them type of positions in life right now, to the point where I don't really care to entertain a lot of the foolishness that everybody else is entertaining. I'm not caught up in that program, and I'm not caught up in that web. And so I don't feel like consuming that energy, man, because you consuming it even when you just come across it and look at it. Like, that's consumption. So I really need to filter out that type of nonsense, man, and just focus on things and consume things that's positive and conducive to my overall health and well-being. So that's why some things I'm just going to have to unplug and disconnect from if I'm not able to really filter it out any better. Tryon Goodman, what's going on? Andrew, most definitely got to keep it going great, man. Keep elevating. Oh, Shine, man, those one-on-ones with yourself, crucial. Crucial. Solid medicine, man. Solid medicine. Oh, Craig, man, no problem, man. It was just kind of crazy. It was crazy how it all went down, man. That's why I just kind of threw me off, and it really made me just reevaluate some things in my life when it all happened. And it happened right before my born day. So y'all know my born day is next month. So this doesn't make anything better, man, to the point where I don't really even care to celebrate it. Never been one to celebrate a born day anyway. But all this type of stuff happening, man, I just feel like, you know what I'm saying, shutting down, shutting off. So this really took a toll on my mental. And yeah, Donna C, most definitely. And this was one of the things that I was wrestling with. And it's hard for me, you know, to get on here and have a certain type of energy, man, when I'm just dealing with certain things. So I didn't really want to come on here and be fake about it and act like I'm extra motivated and excited when really I'm not. I need the motivation. So I had to take time to myself, man, get myself motivated, man, inspire myself. Sometimes you got to be your own motivation and your own inspiration. If you can't be your own motivation and inspiration, then you really need to reevaluate life. So you got to be able to pick yourself up. And I'm one of those individuals, man, got to be self-motivated. So I got to pick myself up. I can't rely on anybody else to pick me up. That's not good. Because the moment they exit, then I'm back down. So I need to be able to pick myself up, to pull myself up. So I had to do that. I had to do that. Because like I said, like I mentioned, that was one of the hardest things I ever had to witness. And it wasn't even the fact of my grandmother passing. I mean, it was, but just to watch my mother have to bury her mother, that's what impacted me. I was like, now that's crazy. And then I didn't make it any better. You know, we was pallbearers and whatnot. So I had to, you know, carry my grandmother's casket to the, you know, so all that type of stuff was crazy when I really sat back and thought about it. When I sat back and I thought about what actually had transpired, I was like, man, that was crazy. And the fact that it was so unexpected, like, you know what I'm saying? She pretty much had a stroke. She had diabetes. So again, y'all got to know and understand how I probably felt. I'm one of the ones, I deal with health and fitness. And here I am, my grandmother, she passed of a stroke that was pretty much caused via the diabetes. So I'm like, man, what is the point of me doing all this knowledge and research if I can't help the people that's closest to me? So that's how I started thinking about stuff after that happened. And I realized I couldn't think like that, man. Before, for the longest, that's what I was on. That's what I was on, man. I didn't see a point in it. I'm like, man, the people closest to me still going down for some of these illnesses, man. And I'm studying to reverse and prevent. And I feel like I got some answers that'll help them, but these are the people that I'm not touching. So with that being said, man, I was like, nah, what I'm saying, this stuff is pointless. No need for me to heavily involve myself in this research and gathering all this information if the people closest to you not listening. So that was one of my sentiments at the time. But I had to grow beyond that. But it was still kind of, challenging, hard to deal with, hard to cope with, because I do feel like if she just would have changed some things in her life, listen to some of the stuff I had been doing, like saying, and then just mimicking some of the stuff I had been doing when I would go down there, feel like she wouldn't have went down that way. I don't even feel like I know it. Like diabetes is something that's easy to reverse and control. So, I mean, that's largely what you consume, on top of just being stressed out and things of that nature. But that's a normal part of the grieving process. I'm pretty sure we done all lost close ones, loved ones, and we feel like there was more that we could have done to keep them here and things like that. So that's normal. That's a part of the process. That's a part of the grieving process. So I know and understand that. So I was more so a little bit frustrated. And then I was also frustrated to see people around me at that time still not strive to make changes once they realize what took her out of the game. So it's like, man, y'all still walking around consuming all this nonsense, and y'all see what just happened to our grandmother, to your mother, this, that, and the third. Like, she didn't have to go out like that, and y'all still not striving to make the changes. So I was frustrated for a little minute, watching the people around me still not make the changes that I felt like they needed to make to take care of their health. Oh, Sean, most definitely. And like I said, that really wasn't the part that bothered me. It was more so watching my mother bury her mother. So that was the part that got to me, man. We had to carry me and my brother. We had to carry my mom and my sister out of there, like out of the funeral several times. That's hard to deal with. That's hard to deal with, man. We had to carry my moms, my sister, and some of my uncles and aunts. Like, we had to carry them up out of there because they couldn't take it. So we had to be that for them. That was rough. Like, that was rough. That's a whole different level of rough. Like, when you can't afford to, you know what I'm saying? When you can't afford to break down to have your moment, when you got to be there to pick everybody else up. Like, we was having to carry people out left and right, to the point where I feel like I about missed the funeral because a lot of things were going on like that. So it was real. Like, it was real. It was real in the field. And I actually haven't been back to Mississippi since then. And I'm probably going back around Thanksgiving time. So that's gonna be different. Yeah, that's gonna be different. I'm gonna have to adapt and adjust to that. But it's just crazy. And like I said, it was the fact that I just had to witness my mother bury her mother. That's what bothered me. Like, that's a different kind of like pain to witness. To see your mom dupes in that type of pain. And like I said, we're not really an emotional family. So to see that threw me off a little bit, man, because we not really emotional. We're not affectionate as a family. Like, that's not how we operate. So to witness it, it was something new, because that's not how we normally don't do that. So when it happened, you almost don't know how to respond and how to act. But it's a first time for everything type deal. Oh yeah. I got a good view, not a good view, but I got a positive view for death. Like, that's why I was able to maneuver through the funeral the way that I maneuvered through it, you know, not shedding tears, not crying, all that type of stuff, man, because I understand that process. I understand the process of dying. I understand what death is. Oh, Andrew, it's a it's a small town called Gloucester, Mississippi. It's by Macomb, by Jackson. It's about an hour from like Jackson. But it's a small town. You blink and you have went through that whole town. Oh yeah, Don C, most definitely. It was just what made the timing just interesting, and what threw everything off is because, and I don't want to say we were sitting here waiting on like my grandfather to pass, but my grandfather he's the one that's pushing 90. Like my grandfather is pushing 90. My grandmother was relatively young. She was 74. So the focus really wasn't on my grandmother. We were trying to embrace my grandfather while he's still here. So that's the type of vibe we were on. We was like, all right, man, we got to make sure we spend as much time with dude. We don't know how much time we gonna have left with dude, even though he don't really have any problems and whatnot. But he pushing 90, so it's like we trying to make time for him. Then that happened. So that was a curveball. That was a curveball. We wasn't ready for that one. It kind of threw us off. Okay, Andrew, I know exactly where you at. So that's why it was kind of unexpected. I mean, like I said, she had her conditions and whatnot. She had her conditions and all that, but we wasn't really focused on her. You know how it is, man. You think some people in your family are immortal and they gonna live forever type deal. But that was the least of our concerns right there, man. We was focused on doing things for my grandfather, and then this happened. So it was like, whoa, like hold up. We was like, hold on. But that shook a lot of people hard, man. She was real popular. Not only where she was from in that part of Mississippi, but all over, man. They had pastors and whatnot from any and everywhere, man. It was a crazy experience, but that's just one of the things I've been having to deal with. Just mentally had to get myself prepared for it, because not only do I have to prepare myself, but I know and understand that my family members are going to be feeling some type of way during this time, during this period. So we all got to be there for each other, man. So I just had to prep myself mentally for all that, man, because that's not necessarily the best energy, and I can't control how everybody else views the situation. So I know a lot of people going to view the situation in a pretty depressing light. So I just got to prep myself to consume that and try to be there for them. You know what I mean? So that's just what I had to prep myself for. So those are the type of things that you just gotta fight. And like I said, I know everybody got things that they are dealing with, that they have dealt with. So we gonna get through it. We gonna conquer it. So it's not really anything that I'm concerned about or worried about. It's just something that I got to deal with, cope with, because I know and understand that I'm a conquer it. But I have to do a better job at expressing myself emotionally. So usually I would just hold the stuff in. I just walk around as if nothing is bothering me, as if I'm just strong, solid, and I'm good. So I'm striving to get out of my comfort zone with that and just express myself a little bit more. So that's why I'm just kind of being a little bit more overt and open here, because normally I wouldn't do this. I just sweep everything under the rug and be like, nah, I'm good. Nothing bothering me. I'm all right. I'll be all right. That's my used to be my favorite line. I'll be all right. So I had to, you know what I'm saying? I had to stop that. Just got to express myself a little bit more verbally. So hopefully, you know, if you one of the individuals that, you know, have been in the same type of position I am emotionally, hopefully this will help you come out of that shell, man, get out of your comfort zone and just express yourself more verbally when it comes to the emotional side of things, and not hold so much in, because that's not necessarily healthy, nor positive, nor beneficial. That will do you a lot worse than a person that went down from whatever they went down for. So you will cause that same stroke. that was caused via that diabetes when you holding stuff in, when you're holding your emotions in. That will cause that stroke. So we got to stop holding that stuff in, man. Like I said, I had to understand that. Had to understand that. I knew it, but I had to understand that. I had to put it in motion. So I had to go back to my math, man. I knew it, got to put it in motion, got to understand why it must be put in motion. Yeah, and that's just that's all that it is. That's all that it is. So like I said, man, it was just seeing other people struggle, other people suffer, because again, like I'm close to my mom, I'm close to my pops, but close to my mom. So to see that, I was like, whoa, so that knocked me off my square a little bit. But we all, we gonna rock and we gonna roll. We still got major things that we accomplishing. We still got major things to do. And like I said, that's what actually inspired me to make some of the moves that I made. So instead of me sitting around grieving, I decided to make moves. Like shortly after that happened to my grandmother, that's when COVID and all that started happening. And then that's when I got my spot, my gym. So that was the way that I started grieving. I was like, man, let me see what I can do. Let me see what I can do to better myself, to make sure I'm taking care of myself, my health, my mental state. So that's when I left corporate America and started doing my own thing shortly after that happened. Because that's when I just realized, man, life is precious, man. I'm not going to say life is too short, man, because it's really not at the end in the grand scheme of things. But life is definitely precious. Definitely precious. And to me, we only got one life to live to do what it is that we need to do. So with that being my perspective and viewpoint, I got to do what I got to do with the time that I have. So I got to make sure I'm knocking out things that I want to knock out. And I got to stop procrastinating, because you never know. You never know. And procrastination has always been my thing, but I had to cease that because, like I said, you just never know. You never know. We're not promised the next 30 minutes, so you never know. So you gotta live every second to the fullest. And you gotta make sure you knocking things down that's on your bucket list, knocking things out that's on that bucket list. Stop acting like I just get to it next week, I just get to it next month. Man, you really don't know if you're gonna be able to get to it next week. You don't know if you'll be able to get to it next month. But while you are here talking about it, you know that you can get to it right now, whatever it is. Like right now, you know that you can get to whatever it is that you need to get to, or at least get started on the process. You know that. Stop prolonging the process. Stop putting that off. Stop brushing it off. And that comes with everything, whether it's your financial goals, whether it's your health and fitness, whatever the case may be. Stop pushing it off. Stop saying you're going to start next week. Stop saying you're going to wait till Monday, a fresh week, the beginning of the week. Stop doing that. Stop doing it. Right now is the time. Right now is always going to be the time. It's always going to be the perfect time. Right now is going to always be that. There is no other perfect time other than right now, at this very moment, at this very second. Whatever it is you think needs to be done, do it right now. Amber, peace, what's going on? And Donna, see, at first, they were kind of skeptical, but it's like once I left my corporate job, then they realized that I was seriously about that life. And then they started to support it. But at first it was like, whoa, what are you doing type deal. And it was a little bit of that negative energy behind it. But I had it set in my mind what I was going to do. And I didn't really care what they said, what anybody said. So I actually had to prepare myself for that type of energy, because I felt like I knew that it was coming. So I was able to just kind of prepare myself in regards to dealing with that type of energy from family. But now for the most part, they have been supportive once they realized that I was really about that life. And once they realized that this is what I'm going to do, regardless of what they think and how they feel. I know what's best for me, and I'm going to move according to that knowledge and that wisdom. And like I already had it in my mind that The people that, like your loved ones, the people that's closest to you, they will be the ones that support you the least. So that's always pretty much been my perspective. So it was like I almost expected it. So I really, again, so nothing really caught me off guard. When they was a little skeptical towards it, I was like, all right, whatever, cool, I'm still finna do this. So you can either get on board or do whatever it is you gotta do. But either way, I'm gonna do what's necessary for me. I've been living for everybody else for too long, so I had to do some things for myself, and that was one of the things that I had to do. So either they can get with it or support it or not. Either way, I'm going to do it. Either way, this gym was going to get open. Either way, I was going to train people in this gym. It was just going to happen. But what I don't need is that negative energy behind my endeavor. So it's like if you don't have, like they say, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say it at all. So if you don't have any good energy to distribute towards my endeavor, I don't want to deal with you. I don't want to converse with you in regards to that particular situation, because I don't need that behind my endeavor, because that can indirectly or directly affect my endeavor. So that's why I'm real mindful and careful with who I share my dreams and goals with, because people can be secretly behind your back wishing for you to fail, and that can affect you. That's quantum physics. Like, that's what quantum physics really is. So that like, you don't know why you may be struggling, but it could be because somebody is wishing for your downfall behind your back, but smiling in your face, as they would say, backstabbers. But that can be the reason why you're struggling, because somebody is pushing that energy towards you hard. Somebody just hoping that you fail so hard that it's starting to indirectly affect you. So that's why, again, you got to be mindful with who you share things with. You don't want to share things with somebody who behind your back is wishing for you to fail, because you may start to struggle based off of that energy. Again, that's quantum physics. That's quantum physics, man. What somebody else could be doing, it could be seemingly unrelated when actually it really is, and that can affect you. So you thinking that the thoughts of someone else is not affecting you, but it is. It is, and you may not even know and understand why. So that's what quantum physics is all about. So that's why I don't share any and everything with any and everyone, because I don't have time for that. Shakir most definitely is crazy, but at this rate is expected. It's sad to say, but it'll kind of catch you off guard when they do support you. The people that's closest to you, when they start to support you, it almost catch you off guard. Like, whoa, wait a minute, wasn't expecting that. That's why it's best to just not have expectations. Dynasty, wow, now that's crazy. That's actually crazy. I mean, it's crazy. And another thing too that just made me look at everything differently. And I've seen these type of posts on Facebook before I even came to this realization, though. But not before, but this was after I came to this realization. But it's funny to me that if I would have came out and said I got a new job, because when I did do that, everybody was excited. When I told them I had got the last job I had at the bank that I was at, everybody was excited. Everybody was like, "Oh man, that's good." Woo woo woo. When it comes to, all right, I'm finna open up my own gym, then it's all type of criticism. It's all type of concern, doubt, fear, worry, and things like that. So when we start opening our own businesses and going into business for ourselves, the people around us, instead of being supportive, like they express all this doubt, concern, all the criticism. They asking every question under the sun. Everybody is now a business expert. It's crazy. But if you say you got this new job, then everybody happy for you. We got to stop being like that, man. I applaud the person that's going into business for themselves or starting an endeavor or whatever the case may be, before I applaud the person that is continuing to work within corporate America. Not saying I'm knocking that, but again, I'm going to reward that person that had the courage to say, man, I'm about to step out and do this thing on my own and take this leap, because that's a big leap. That person needs more of my support than the person that got this job. This person that is stepping out into the world doing their own thing, they're going to need more of my support. They're going to need more of that positive energy because that's a big task. But it's like we tend to give them the worst energy. And we got to, I mean, that's something that we have to stop doing as a community, man. We have to stop doing that. We have to stop doing that. When somebody comes to you and say, man, they starting this endeavor, they opening this business, they about to become an entrepreneur, whatever the case may be, man, we got to look at them and we got to support them just as hard as we would support them if they told us they got this new job. Like, that's what we got to do. Like, that's crucial within our community, man. We got to really start supporting. We got to start supporting that entrepreneurial spirit a little bit more than we do. That entrepreneurial vibe, that entrepreneurial energy, that needs more support. We don't support that enough. And I'm not talking about black people supporting black people. I'm talking about families. I'm talking about families supporting members in their family, doing things like that. We got to support that a little bit more. We got to give that more time, more energy. Yeah, Donna, that's crazy. Did wrong on purpose. And you trying to do good and you trying to do better on purpose. And they not supporting that. Now that's wild. So we gonna support doing wrong on purpose. But when somebody trying to do better on purpose, we not fooling with that. We not fooling with that. That's too risky. Like that's interesting, but I know a lot of situations like that. I know a lot of situations like that, and that is very interesting. It's intriguing. Oh, Shakir, man, I most definitely appreciate that. Yeah, we gonna manifest everything. Everything gonna turn into a reality. We gonna manifest everything. That is indeed going to happen. Everything will be manifested. Like we gotta stop settling for less. Like we deserve just as much as that pie as everybody else. We deserve a piece of that pie just like everybody else. So we gotta manifest some things. And we gotta really focus on those things in which we are manifesting. And that's one thing I had to realize. Man, I can't do this part-time. I can't indulge in manifesting my dreams part-time. This is something that has to get all of my energy in order for me to truly succeed. This is something that needs all of my energy, all of my attention, all of my focus, all of my concentration. That's the only way it's going to truly unfold how I envisioned it. But if I was doing it part-time, it wouldn't have unfolded according to the vision that I have for myself. So I had to realize this is something I got to do full throttle. Oh, Zucco, most definitely. Most definitely. Dynasty, that's crazy. I wouldn't be sending a penny, but what's crazy is I had family members like that. Have family members like that. Then they get out and do some of the same stuff. Like they don't change. And it's just like they get right back in jail. They get put right back in jail. And then people start to send the money once again. So the cycle continues. So it's like at some point, people just gotta learn. And when they know that they are able to depend on you for stuff like that, then you're not really helping them change, refine themselves, reform themselves. Like you are funding that nonsense. You are funding their ignorance. They're gonna continue to do exactly what it is that got them into that position when you continue to fund them. So when it comes to people like that, man, they just gotta learn. Like I gotta stop feeding your habit. Gotta stop feeding your ignorance. You gotta learn this the hard way. Sorry they gotta be that way, but you gotta learn. Oh, that man, this dude sounds just like man, I know a similar situation. That's crazy. It's like at this point, it's like at that point, it's like, man, they have decided what they gonna do with their life. And being in and out of jail is that decision. Like that's what they gonna do with their life, go in and out of jail. So it's like, why would I continue to waste my valuable energy and continuing to deal with them and fund them? That's only gonna stress me out. That's only gonna stress me out and create a sickness within myself. Oh, Craig Smith, most definitely. Insanity, as they call it. Big time insanity. Yeah, so I'm one of those tough love individuals, man. I don't care who it is. Like if you start to do some ignorant, I'm not gonna be one of them individuals that's yelling free my cousin. If my cousin indeed did what it if I know for a fact my cousin did what it is that placed him in there. No, don't free that man. That man need to stay up in there. That man need to learn. He need to learn. He need to learn this lesson. He need to do his time. I'm not gonna be yelling free that man when that man did exactly what it is that he was accused of. And I know for a fact he did it. I'm not about to waste my time talking about free that guy, free that man, free my cousin. No, my cousin did it. He did it. He got to serve his time. Now, if I feel like the penalty is unjust, then that's another story. But if he did the crime and the time that he got, I feel like was worthy, then nah, you got to do your time. You got to do your time, player. You got to do your time. I'm not about to be campaigning for your release when you did exactly what it is that got you in there. Not finna campaign for your release just so you can come back out here and do the same thing. That's not good on my conscience, man. You need to reform, refine yourself. You need to learn from what you did. And you need to learn that for every action, there's a consequence. And this is the consequence behind your actions. Yeah, Dynasty, man. I mean, my goodness, there's so many different ways to not only ask for help, but get the help. You know, like, I mean, my goodness, if you don't even want to talk to anybody, man, you could just get on YouTube and type in some things, man, that can help you out. You can watch some videos that'll help you out or something, man. It don't take much to get help these days, man. So if you just going through something like that, man, just get on YouTube. Use social media to your advantage. Find some books, something. If you don't want to talk to anybody verbally, man, there's plenty of other ways to go about getting that help. Yeah, it'd be crazy. I see some situations where not only did they kill 3 people, but the individual may have killed a kid or something. And they out here talking about free my cousin Mark or something, and they didn't kill the 2-year-old or a 3-year-old. And we know they did it. Then they start hitting you with it. Well, he never do, man, he did it. Not finna yell free. I'm not doing that. Not doing that. When everything is lining up, and I'm not talking about the evidence that they supply me with. I'm talking about when things add up to me. When it's like, man, dude did that. I could be wrong, but when things add up to me, I'm not yelling free whoever you are when I feel like you did something crazy like that. No. Zucko, no. I've never tried to speak Spanish. I took French in high school and college. So I took French. I've never taken a Spanish course, but I took French. Interestingly enough, just imagine me speaking French. Imagine that. That was a crazy experience and a crazy situation. Me speaking French. That was crazy. Yeah, Dynasty, that sounds like what it is. You didn't want to send money, so they said forget you then, which is interesting and crazy. Craig, I'm the same way. I'm not supporting I'm not supporting that destruction from no. I don't care if it's my mom's or my like. If you did it, you did it. If it's something wicked that you did, you got caught, man, you finna serve your time, man. I'm not finna waste my time dealing with you, man. I'm not finna end up stressed out. I'm not gonna do that, man. You shouldn't have did what you did. Somebody kill a kid out here, man. Like, you're not supposed to be doing that. Like, I don't care. I don't even, like, some of the people that's in the worst mental state know that they ain't supposed to be out here killing kids. So when you out here shooting and you killing children, man, happens to you, you deserve it. And I don't care who you are. You out here molesting, raping children. Whatever happens to you, you deserve it. And again, I don't care who you are. You raping women, like, whatever happens to you, you deserve it. I don't care who you are. Like, when you doing crazy nonsense like that, whatever happens to you, you deserve it. You deserve it, and I'm going to have no sympathy. I'm not about to care about it. Yeah, Shakir, and that's what I was mentioning earlier, man. Like, they becoming dependent upon you, and when they know they can lean on you, like, they not gonna strive to reform and refine themselves. So nah, they ain't gonna lean on me. If you did that crime, man, I know you did it. You might as well not call me, because whatever favor it is you seeking, you're not gonna get it from me, and that's just a fact. Not wasting my time on it, man. You made that decision. You knew what you was doing. You knew what you was doing when you made that decision. When you did whatever it was that placed you behind them bars, like, you knew what you were doing. You knew the consequences. Just got caught. Man, Zucko, I may try to learn Spanish one day. It's not something that I've had in my mind, but hey, who knows? Because that's good for the mental, man, learning a different language. Donna C, that's crazy and interesting, because I also, like Zucko, I also know some individuals who have done that. Like, people don't, man, it's crazy. People do not think out here, but I know some individuals who have done that as well, and it's crazy. And we got the donation there, the sevens. Now that's peace. Sean, me and you both. Any harm to kids and women? When you harm the kids and the women, and then the elders, when you harm the elders, the kids and the women, listen, whatever happens to you, you deserve it. Kids, women, and the elders. When you harm that Trinity, anything that happens to you, you deserve it. I don't care what it is, and I don't care who you are. When that's what you do, and that's what you did, you get no sympathy from me. You get none at all. And Donna, see, that's crazy, man. That's crazy, man. That's crazy. That goes back to when I was in college, man. When I was around all them white folks in college, they were doing some strange things on the campus, and that was one of them. That was one of them, man. It's just like, dude, what are you doing, and why are you doing what you are doing? Craig Smith, appreciate the donation. $9.99. That's the you didn't donated the album on iTunes price. $9.99. But yeah, like, I don't have a lot of sympathy for individuals that place themselves in those type of situations. Like I said, I've had some family members like that, and I don't really have any sympathy. I mean, I don't, definitely don't come to me looking for sympathy, because I'm all about accountability. So when you made a decision that you knew replace you behind bars, like that was on you. That's on you, player. Like I ain't got nothing to do with that. I have nothing to do with that at all. Like I can give you a little bit of some words of encouragement, some little motivation and inspiration, and that's about it. I'm not about to waste time in dealing with you. Appreciate you, Sean, for that donation. Zucco, man, Zucco, yep. Yeah. But the way I view things, man, like campuses, college campuses, that's about to be something that's near obsolete. Strictly, especially with this whole pandemic. But I feel like campuses and all that, it's about to be obsolete. It's about to be all virtual learning, all online schooling. And they may have campuses preserved for like athletes and things like that. But I read an article about that a long time ago, before this pandemic even happened. But that's the future that I see for college campuses. We're going to see less and less college campuses in the near future. We're about to see a lot more virtual schooling in regards to college. Especially now that people are really realizing that, for one, tuition and all that nonsense, the price of college is a scam. So a lot of people are realizing that. So they opt in for other avenues. So what's essentially about to happen is you're about to see these college campuses become obsolete, because room and board, that's a price. That's something that you got to pay for. So you're about to see less and less college campuses. Mark my words on that. She Smooth, what's going on? Craig Smith, appreciate it. But yeah, you about to see less and less college campuses, man. That's about to happen. You about to see a lot more of this virtual learning, virtual schooling. This pandemic happening is just gonna expedite that process. But it's definitely about to be something that you about to see happen. You're about to see a lot more virtual everything, to be honest with you. But it's definitely about to hit the school system, man, because a lot of people, like this article that I read, this may have been like 5+ years ago. We're just talking about how people are waking up towards college being a scam and all that type of nonsense, man. So people is waking up to the actual reality of the situation, man. We're not about to spend 50, 60,000 for an education to the point where we're not gonna come out with a job that enables us to pay that off. Lindell, I'm gonna put it to you like this. When it comes to the death penalty, because again, I'm not really a fan of this trash system, because a lot of people have been killed unjustly when they really didn't do what it is that they were accused of doing. But like I said, if you did exactly what I just mentioned, if you touch the kids, if you touch the babies, touch the women, and you hurt the elders in any way, shape, or form, especially if you kill them, then if death must be your penalty, I have no sympathy. I have no sympathy. And that's just the way that it is. I have no sympathy. If you do some of those things that to me are unforgivable, I really, like, if death is your penalty, then that's just what it is. If you out here molesting children, like, you really deserve death. You don't deserve to exist. You really don't. And that's just how I feel about it. You out here, you a grown man, and you out here raping women, bro, you deserve death. Like, I have no sympathy for you if death is your penalty. None. When that's what you were out here doing. Like, you don't rape our women, man. You don't do that. You just don't do that and then live to talk about doing it. Like, I'm not cool with that. So, like, nah, them people got to go. Some people just got to go. And I don't have no sympathy for those individuals. And I have no problem saying that, but some people just got to go. Even if this system didn't exist, like, we would have to deal with those people within our community. Like, if we had to deal with everything on that communal level, if you touching the kids, you raping the women, like, your penalty might still be death to me if I was in charge. I'm not trying to reform you when you out here raping babies, killing babies, raping women. No, like, I'm not trying to reform you. I'm not trying to change you. You knew what you were doing. You shouldn't have did it. That's sick. You wasn't out here, you just stole some stuff from a store. Like, nah, you wasn't doing that. You wasn't just, selling drugs and that. You out here, you touching babies, man. You killing babies, you raping women, then killing the women. You got to go, bro. You got to go. You just got to go. You served your time on this earth. So you got to go. I'm not about to give you any more time to do what it is that you are currently doing. Lindell, most definitely. Oh yeah, Donna, see, it's all about the evidence. Like I said, if I know that you for a fact did it, no sympathy. No sympathy. I'm not trying to reason with you. I'm not trying to hear you justify what you did. None of that. You raped that woman. Oh, I was drunk. Nah, not working, not flying. You don't rape the women. Don't do it. No excuse for that. I hit the bed. I know y'all seen that article with the couple, man, when they killed the 2-year-old girl, man, and they said the mama beat her because she wouldn't go to sleep or something. She kept crying. So they beat her to death, basically, and left her in the closet to die. Like, come on, man. Ain't no justifying that. Ain't no justifying that, man. This ain't no justifying it. That's not how. No, you can't justify it. Oh yeah, she's smooth, extinct, get rid of them, eliminate them ASAP. I'm saying I don't really care at this point. Oh, Shakir, tell me about it. I'm suffering from student loan debt to this day because I made that decision. So I know all about that. OG Loke, what's going on? OG Loke, that name that's the GOAT. That's a nice name, OG Loke. Cray Smith, that's crazy. And drag them to the street to the next. That's crazy. To your daughter's kindergarten. That's sick. Some sick people. Marcus G, man, listen. You keep listening to enough of these videos, you're gonna figure out some remedies, man, because we all fighting through life, man, and we fight through it together, man. We fight through it together, man. We gonna conquer it. We gonna conquer self and we gonna conquer life, because conquering self is conquering life, man. So focus on mastering yourself. Focus on getting in tune with yourself. Focus on knowing yourself. Focus on accepting yourself, embracing yourself, understanding self. You're gonna get through that fight, man. You're gonna get through it. So you got it, man. Just keep tuning in and tapping in, man. And we gonna get through it together, man. Because I'm right here with you fighting. I don't got everything figured out. I'm fighting every day just like the next person. I'm going through obstacles just like the next person. So we all in it together at the end of the day. Most definitely, she's smooth, most definitely. And with that being said, y'all know I get the venting, so I get carried away on that time. But again, I got to head up to the gym, got some people to train. I'm going to definitely tap back in tomorrow. I'm going to build with you all tomorrow, around the same time, of course. We're going to have another positive dialogue, another positive stream, another positive interaction. This was a powerful stream, another powerful interaction and dialogue. But I got some things I got to do. I got to go run some people through the ground, man. So y'all stay positive, stay peaceful, stay centered. I'm out, y'all. Again, build on the positives, destroy the negative. Y'all be easy out here. Enjoy this Wednesday evening. Peace, y'all.